is Royal Rumble season, so you know what we do. We put on our nerd hats and we start to speculate. Although this year, COVID has thrown all of my potential plans out the window. Because before Roman Reigns did get that, I was like, maybe Bobby Lashley's going to win. Maybe Seth Rollins is going to win. Hey, maybe Brock Lesnar is going to win. But now Lesnar is a WWE champion. Bobby Lashley is in a championship match at the pay-per-view. Premium live event. Don't shock me, I am sick of it. And so is Seth Rollins. So who the fuck knows? But what it does mean is that there is only one name and one man who should become the 2022 Royal Rumble winner. And even with all the names I've already said, we probably should have still been going in this direction. And I am, of course, talking about Big E. Why? Here's why. And the simple answer, if you aren't going to watch all of this video, is because he's great. When he became the WWE champion in 2021, it was one of my favorite moments of the year. And sometimes I sit down and I think, this guy is exactly what I want in a professional wrestler. One, he's absolutely massive. Two, you could totally believe that he could kick anybody's ass. But also three, he has the weirdest sense of humor ever, and he genuinely makes me laugh. And look, I have no problem with Brock becoming the champion at day one. I would have just preferred it if he had pinned somebody else. But now with the power of hindsight, when you go through it, well, if he pinned Bobby Lashley, I'd have been like, man, that's a shame for Bob. If he had done it to Seth Rollins, I would have thought the same thing. And Kevin Owens is basically the same as Big E. So really, when it came to this, if you were going to make the Beast the man, well, that really wasn't the best option. Now, yes, people also did start throwing their toys out the pram recently when Seth Rollins defeated Big E, but I am actually going to spin this in a positive way because I've been watching WWE for a long ass time and I know the things they like to do. So I think it's all tying into an awesome plan, and of course I will be proven wrong, but look at me. Of course I would come up with the wrong plan. Even my parents don't talk to me anymore, because I say a lot of stupid stuff. However, given that we are talking about Big E being the last man standing, here are a few points that I feel will win you over. The most important of these is that he is a good guy that people like. And while every now and then, of course, a villain should win the Royal Rumble, that's not the same as somebody you actually care about, because when they do take that last guy and they throw them over the top rope, you can be like, yes, now we have a couple of months getting excited about them being in a main event match at WrestleMania. Even though, as a slight sidebar, I don't actually think Big E's going to be in the main event. We will get to that in 1 second though, because before that, we need to talk about raising the stakes. Because after Big E had cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase to become the champion, he went and lost to basically everyone. He lost to Roman Reigns, he lost to Bobby Lashley, he lost to Kevin Owens, he lost to Seth Rollins, we've already talked about that one. And given that he did use a briefcase to climb to the top of the ladder, it was one of those runs where you're like, well, it's okay, you know, and it's great because it is Big E. I kind of feel like we could have pushed him stronger. But screw all of that because it's in the past, and if you look behind too much, you'll probably trip up over your own feet as you try to move forward. And do not forget, within Vince McMahon's crazy bubble, if he does give you a second title reign, that's usually the one when all of a sudden we push the go button. And given that I feel like something is in the air, I think Big E could get it. Because if we do believe the rumor mill, Seth Rollins was meant to win the WWE title at the day one pay-per-view, premium live event, which probably eventually would have set up Big E trying to get his title back after he had won the Royal Rumble. And I've been through my WrestleMania guide. We have never done Seth Rollins and Big E at the show of shows, so why not do it in 2022? And yes, going back to my earlier point, when we do get to that date, I don't think whoever wins the Men's Rumble is going to be in the actual main event, because do not forget, we are having a 2-night spectacular extravaganza, and one of those nights is going to be headlined by Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. That's just what we do at WrestleMania now. You've got to deal with it. But on the other night, I think we're going to get Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch after Bianca Belair wins the Women's Royal Rumble. And just so you know, I'm more than fine with that. It will be terrific. This will mean that a potential Seth Rollins Big E match features elsewhere in the card. But when you give it a minute to siphon through your brain, it actually could benefit Big E. Because given how WWE did treat him in the latter part of 2021, you'd be forgiven for going into your tum-tums and saying, well, maybe they don't think he's ready for a main event spot. They'd be completely wrong, but I understand your thinking. It does mean, though, from their point of view, we do have to continually build him towards that. So pick a match on night 1, pick a match on night 2, put it on the card wherever the flub you want, and have Big E win the title, which of course is a figurative next step. I mean, hell, put the damn belt on him and let him hold it till Survivor Series for all I care. If he starts smashing fools, I promise you it'll work. This also gives you 3 instant awesome matches at WrestleMania 2. And did you see Big E and Seth Rollins from Raw the other day? That was a basic TV match. Imagine what they'll try and do on a bigger stage. You could also move the rest of the deck around so we get Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens, another match I haven't seen here, which also frees up everything for us to do Edge versus AJ Styles, which I want more than everything, but we'll talk about them in future videos. Because when it comes to Big E, we should just try and recreate everything we did with Kofi Mania. Like, I know it's not going to be the same, but when he does win, I want pageantry, I want pyrotechnics, I want fireworks, and I want the rest of the New Day in there going, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did it, because it gets me every time. It's this whole idea that makes me plump for Big E though, because too many times, especially in World Wrestling Entertainment, we fall back into the whole, oh my gosh, the villain has won. How's the good guy ever going to get back there? And then he tries, and he does win, and then the next night we just go back to the status quo. I mean, it's so easy to root for Big E because he's such a good dude. I mean, go listen to him in any kind of interview he does do. And I will stand here today, or whatever day it is, and say that I think he's underrated and undervalued as a performer. Any promotion in the world would want him. And do not forget, only 25 individual male wrestlers have won the Royal Rumble, meaning if you do become Mr. 26, this is a big deal. And I say, put the name Big E next to that down. And he also should win it in 2023, but that doesn't make him number 27 for reasons you should be able to figure out. So seriously, I think he's the best option by a country mile, especially because he got beaten by Brock Lesnar, lost his title, and because he recently lost to Seth Rollins. This is what WWE does. They're like, bury them, because they know in a few weeks, don't worry, kapow, they are back on top of the card. And I know, wouldn't it make more sense to go the other way, but then not drop them in it? Yes, it would, but we don't control it, and by this stage, we should all be used to it. This is what I want though, so I have taken my voice, and I've taken my opinion, and I've thrown it out into the world, and now I shall keep everything crossed and hope that it manifests itself, and finally, I can sleep at night. I mean, that's not true. Wrestling doesn't really have an effect on whether I do have a good night's rest. The point is this, I want Big E to win, and if you think you have a better option, put it in the comments below. I bet you don't. So yes, now please, I mean it, go down there. Let me know, who do you want to win the Royal Rumble 2022? I am picking Big E. Unless something drastically changed on television, when we get to the Royal Rumble predictions, I will pick Biggest E again. Then like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Go to whatculture.com. We'll keep you up to date about the Royal Rumble. Come follow us on social media because we'll do it there as well. And we have lots of videos, a lot of which will be about the Royal Rumble. Go get pumped. My name is Simon for What Culture. Thank you for joining me as always. And in case Big E ever does watch this, I think you are a great wrestler and I'm happy to be a fan. See you soon.